back with a vengeance, right? It's been a time of a lot of masterminding and brainstorming and very, very exciting, right? It's all about business growth. So happy to be here with you, Seth.
I'm happy to be with you, and I'm happy to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, cash flow, and how to create more cash flow. And I know that you've done a ton of research on this. You've actually created a lot of cash flow. Um, we're going to be talking about well, I mean, following up basically on a conversation from on a conversation we had last time, right?
Yeah.
About the different types of incomes, linear income, residual income, passive income, and into assist. And it's great to talk about those. It's even better to talk about how to create those, right?
You said it. You said it. It's one thing to think about different ways of having the money come in, but there's something about knowing how it's going to happen that makes it more believable. It takes it from imagination, wishing and hoping to, ooh, yeah, this can happen. Oh, wait a minute, this is happening. So, and I just loved having a conversation about it because there are so many ways people actually like to work, so
Mm-hmm.
many ways they like to interact on social media. And I'm really excited about this whole mechanism of the passive income, residual income, and all that coming together. So let's dive right into it, right?
Absolutely. And one thing I'll say, Anne, having spent myself nearly 10 years in corporate America for a New York Stock Exchange traded um health consumer goods company, um, international, great company, by the way. Then branching into working my own business, meaning, we have the idea, we design. I was in the clothing industry, by the way, which accounts for my many different fashion approaches that we see on these broadcasts today. And then transitioning from small business ownership and all the things. I mean, if anybody's ever run their own business, and you know that you are wearing, I don't have any hats in my room, but I mean, you are wearing so many hats. And from there, transitioning into, partnerships and strategic partnerships that incorporated some of the concepts we're going to talk about today, brand ambassadors, right? Affiliate type marketing and brand partners, joint venture partnerships to deliver things like residual income, right? Passive income. Once you have lived, once you have tasted this, right? Just once you have tasted this, it is in the financial world, it is the sweetest thing. You're hooked. You're absolutely hooked, and you can't really imagine going back and saying, okay, yeah. I mean, I get emails all the time, or recruitments. Hey, do you want to come do this position? Maybe whatever education and experience you have, you might be recruited to go do something else. In my realm, hey, do you want to come sit on this board of directors, or hey, there's this vice presidentship, or there's this CEO. Thinking, there's no way you could pay me. And I'll say this, from a passive income, residual income standpoint, I would much rather have, I don't know, let's say $100,000. Not, let's say 50,000. Okay, I'm going to bring it back to the average income in the U.S. And I would rather have $50,000 of passive income or residual income, right? Depending on what I have. I'd rather have that than have a six-figure job working for somebody else. And here's why. Because if I'm a vice president, or if I'm an executive level person in a company, and they're paying me $100,000, how much time are they going to want from me?
A lot. A
It's
lot. I was in corporate, and I will tell you, I'm just interrupting for a second. The part of me that decided, no, I have to be an entrepreneur. I was actually in India working on a project, and it was I wanted to go to this ashram. It would have taken 2 days to get there, and I figured I'd spend a couple of days, 2 days to drive back. I'm like, there is no way they're going to give me a week off. No way. There was too much money dependent on my work over there, and they didn't send me there on vacation. I'm on their dime. So basically, that what you said, that right there, I experienced it. That's what I was like, nope. I'm going on my own. I'm going to have my own business. But I also love what you just said. Once you taste that freedom of the residual income, I had to interrupt you there. So please go
No.
ahead. I hope you didn't lose your train of thought.
Well, that train probably already passed, but there's another one coming. Um,
I know, right?
I I appreciate that story because that's the real life. That I mean, I'm talking about it. You and that feeling that no, I can't go see this in India. I'm in India, but I can't. My hands are tied. I'm
Yeah.
handcuffed. I don't have the freedom. And so I would take the $50,000. My income, I require more than $50,000 a year to live and to raise my family. But I would take that $50,000 of passive income and all of the free time, all the additional time that it would give me, and then I would create another stream of income, as opposed to having 100 or 150. I'd take 50,000 of passive income over 150 or $200,000 of a job because I know I'm going to have to work. If somebody's paying you 100, 150, $200,000 a year, I mean, flip, they're asking for this at $65,000 a year, and they're
Yep.
not expecting
Even
40
less
hours a
than that.
week.
Even less.
They're gonna it's gonna be everything. So $200,000 a year to have no extra time. No, no, no. I want a lifestyle and a living.
Yep.
Not, I'm not in for one or the other. So that's why what we're talking about today. How do you create? How do you get to taste that sea salt caramel hazelnut, custard, right?
I'm going to have to go get some coffee.
We just brought it back from Tillamook, Oregon on our last trip, on our family trip, because I've got residual income, because I've got passive income. We're up in, we're on the Oregon coast. And I brought back this Oregon hazelnut sea salt caramel custard. And it is to live and not to die for, because
To live for.
I want another bite. But we're going to show you how you can start to create that,
Yeah.
right?
You know what? Yeah, you just made a huge impact on the mindset aspect of it. Okay? It's all about the mindset. Now, where do you start, right? And I love that you said you can start with $50,000 and then build on that. So a lot of people, they have their jobs right now and they can't just switch. It takes time to build a business. It's an investment of time and money to start your own business, and most small businesses, they fail. They fail. That's the reality. Majority of the reason is because they don't have the support they need. They don't have the experience in running a business. They don't have enough money to hire the number of people. Think about it. In a major corporation, how many people are working to get one thing done? I know when I was in my corporate career, I had 6 people in my New York office, but each one of them had their own teams. Each one of them their own teams across the globe. So I would be on the road 4 to 6 months a year, but my team, who each one of them had their own teams, got the job done. I only needed to manage my 6 people in my New York office, for different divisions. So that's all I had to do. Now, how many people can afford to have those six key people when you're starting in your business? Can't.
No, no,
Can't.
absolutely not. And again, multiply those 6 by their teams as well,
Yeah.
and it's difficult to be a
Yeah.
solopreneur. Another thing I see with solopreneurs and small business owners uh, is they find themselves in that treadmill. It's actually not dissimilar to the treadmill that they found themselves on in corporate America. It's just now that their name's on the shingle outside the door,
Yeah.
right? Instead of me working for ABC Corporation, now it's Seth Mulder Corporation. But I'm it's almost worse because I'm running in that treadmill like a hamster or a gerbil or a rat, right? In the rat race, just because I might I might have that business, that name on my business, but that business owns me,
Yeah.
right? Um, and so you mentioned something. Well, where do you start? And I will tell you, I had a friend. This is 20 years ago this year. Call me one day and say, "Hey, I think you should look at a different type of a business model." And I was reluctant. I'm going to say I was running two successful companies, that treadmill,
Yeah.
uh, and sometimes it's hard to disconnect yourself and look at something objectively, uh, because we're so busy, because it's unfamiliar, because maybe it's a little out of our comfort zone, or it's going to require resources or a skill set that maybe you don't have in your toolbox right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I sat my butt down and I listened. And as I listened, what I saw was an opportunity to create the incomes that we talked about last week. And it required effort and investment. And investment can be, of course, time, effort, skill, maybe some capital, some money. It would require some of that, but it was all within reach. And it was, I mean, I was going to start a little affiliate, network. It was actually a network marketing company for less than $1,000. Okay. Less than $1,000. And I was going to jump into a system that was already created. I didn't have to go create the product. I didn't have to go create the marketing tools. I didn't have to go create the systems or the logistics or the payment structures, the financing. I mean, that's all the stuff. I mean, you got to do all of that as an entrepreneur, or find and pay
Yeah.
good people, not just people, good people, great people to do that.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. And the a beautiful thing was I could do it as a side hustle. That's the word. That's the word that's kind of what we call it these days. We didn't call it a side hustle then. It was but today we call it a side hustle.
Yeah.
It's very much mainstream. What are you doing to side hustle? Well, you know, I really believe everybody ought to have a plan B, folks. You ought to have an understanding of a plan B. Um, and so starting a side hustle on this, again, it's on the side. I was I moonlit it. I was moonlighting, right? I would
Excuse me.
I would do my job, my job. I mean, I was build my companies in the day. Sometimes I'd take a break at lunch and I'd get working on this, on this side project. And at night, and I was dreaming about the side project because I saw the potential. I knew that the side project had potential to eclipse my main gig, these two companies that I was running and making more money than I ever had. I had a better lifestyle than I'd ever had. I mean, I was literally living an incredible life, but I could see and feel the limitations of that.
Mm.
And what we're talking about today, when you get into residual income models, passive income models, leveraged income models that are leveraging more than you have to require of yourself personally, which can deliver more than the 100%. Again, J. Paul Getty, I would rather have 1% of 100, and I'm going to speak enlightened, of 100 women's efforts. He said men, but that's not my wheelhouse. Of
Yeah.
100 women's efforts than 100% of my own. That's when we start talking about leverage.
Yeah.
I did that. I moonlit. I moonlit that. This sounds weird to say moonlit, but I did that on the side during my lunches, after work. After my work, after I put the kids in bed, I'd stay up late. Saturdays, I mean, I made investments and sacrifices, but when I started to taste, and that stream of income actually started to generate relatively quickly. Uh,
Yeah. But
when I
I,
started to
I,
taste,
oh,
it was it tasted good.
yeah. No, I came about to the same place from a different perspective, right? I went from corporate to having my own, online business. And to be able to get support with marketing and also what I call my co op collaborative, my co op marketing partners, right? So it was like affiliate programs. So, we would promote each other's programs, and then you get 25, 30, 40, 50%, depending on the product. You get affiliate commissions. And then there was like a two-tier commission. Like if I introduced them to somebody who had a lot of people, they would be, I would get 5% of, maybe they would get 20, 30, 40, depending on a product. But that was also leverage. It was so understanding the mechanism. If we start thinking about who else does my client need to be supported by to be successful. Yeah, in this case, I will tell you, like right now, I'm focused on the health coaches, healthcare professionals. Why? COVID opened up our eyes to so much. Everybody started working from home, right? And that's
Yeah.
what I do. I teach people how to turn their expertise into their online programs. But then I saw so many people suffering with health. So many stories. I started diving into it. I started looking into it. 'Cause I'm in that age right now. And I'm like, oh my God, this
I
is
mean,
really scary. So you have to have money and you have to have your health. Everything else falls into place. If you're healthy, you have money, you can go on those trips with your family. You have money and you're healthy, you can take time and go to the ashram in India, like I want to go to, right? So these two put together, that's why I'm really really excited, because opening our minds, to look at things from a different perspective. One, working for a company, we're having our own business, we're limited. Two, having a collaborative marketing co-op, what I call co-op marketing partners, with a bunch of other people who are working to support the same customer. It's leverage. Now we're supporting each other. We don't have to work as hard. Maybe somebody's good at marketing, somebody else is good at putting a product together, somebody else. So in other words, I can introduce people to somebody and make money because I'm introducing them. Now, when I started looking into healthcare products, well, that's not a digital product,
yeah.
We're talking healthcare. That's a whole different ball game. And anyway, so that's when I got actually super excited when I met you and the company that you represent. So happy because you know it's one thing to actually go out and sell a product. It's another to know that the product is really, really good and it
Hmm.
works. And that was part of my requirement, my prerequisite. I mean, it had to be something that I needed. And being a woman of certain age, there was a lot that I needed. I mean, come on, let's say it like it is. So there were quite a few things. I still want to climb Kilimanjaro, and I need some help, right? So,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, so I was like really, really excited. So if we look at it, let's talk about what that looks like. So the the main level, whenever we're offering products, one is a retailer, just a retailer. You have a store, you bring in products, and people buy that product.
Right.
So that means you pay for the product, you buy the product, you pay for the space, you put it there, you market the product so people come and buy the product so you can get your 50% markup or something. It's time and investment and marketing, all kinds of stuff. The affiliate model, that's what we see influencers do. They have a following, they have built trust, they build rapport with people who are following them. And it's the thing that we see a lot. Like, I, I I look at YouTube for makeup ideas for the mature woman now, right? So I mean,
Oh, you mean a woman
yeah,
of a woman of a certain age?
yeah, yeah. Exactly, right. My makeup doesn't go on the way it used to, so I have to figure out what to do with it. So anyway, so I go to YouTube, and guess what I'm doing? I'm watching them apply that shadow, this one. I'm like, oh, that I have to buy that because it goes on differently. So what do? I click on their link, I go to buy the product, and that's their affiliate link. So every time I buy it, they're making money, which I'm very grateful for. Here's why. I would have gone to the store. I would have tried a whole bunch, which I have. God, we've spent so much money on different things that don't work. So I'm very grateful for somebody to be making money because they're making my life easier. They're doing the research. They're bringing me the product. I'm very happy for them to make money, and I'm happy to keep going back. Now, that's the affiliate model. That's the brand ambassador.
Brand ambassador, yeah.
Brand ambassador. That's what we hear, So you'll hear it all over the place. And brand ambassadors are the ones that actually represent a company or a particular product. They wear it, they look at there's something about them, right? And so I could be a brand ambassador for the woman of a certain age makeup, right? So, yeah. In this case, I'm a brand ambassador for a woman of certain age to be using collagen, right? Because it
Yes.
works. Yeah. So anyways, so that's the brand ambassador. That's the world that I know a lot about. But you know the world of brand partner, which is a lot more complex. And I am so happy to be learning from you because it's basically the brand ambassador model with an attitude.
With an attitude. I was thinking, I
With
said,
an
ooh,
attitude.
where's she going on this? Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
affiliate marketing, digital products as well as physical products. I've been in physical products. I'm just really comfortable there. I'm comfortable with how physical products work. I'm comfortable with, the being able to look, touch, feel, experience uh, physical products. And I've also found this, by the way, Anne, there, especially in the health world. I mean, I'll give you an idea. You mentioned collagen. I love collagen. I've got a new favorite collagen, liquid collagen
That's
that
my
I
favorite now, too, by the way.
goodness
Yeah.
right now. Um, say something like collagen. A few years ago, collagen was, I mean, it's really exploded in the last few years. Okay. Maybe in 2018, it was maybe at 3 billion. It's doubled in 2 years, doubled again. I think right now it's about 8 billion. Okay. It's about $8 billion a year sold in various collagen products. Uh, we introduced a collagen product. It's already in 6 weeks. It's our number 2 selling product worldwide. In 6 weeks.
That's
I have
amazing.
some friends who introduced a collagen product a little over a year ago. They're probably moving more than $100 million a year in 12 months. Now, follow me. Because it's a physical product and you're taking it every day. This is one of the benefits, and really this is my what we, if we were in public speaking, my apology for physical products. Another, my argument, right? My thesis for physical product. You're touching this every day. It changes your life. You're going to keep using it.
Yeah.
The collagen market is supposed to double in the next few years. Before this decade runs out, it'll be running close to $17 billion a product, and my prediction is going to hang tight. It's going to hang tight or grow, right? I could run those numbers for you in other areas as well. We deal in the genomic industry and supplementation with an attitude. And we're seeing that market absolutely explode and go from 0 to 17 billion, right? The thing about physical products is people will stay on those. Like digital products, they don't necessarily like, you might have to sell, you're not going to sell your digital product to the same person over and over and over, right? But I'm going to sell this bottle to the same person, or they're going to let me back up. They're going to continue to purchase this subscription over and over and over. I have customers who are still taking products more than a decade after I recommended those products. So if we've been talking about brand ambassadorship, if you're a brand ambassador and you find a great product,
Mm-hmm.
I like to deal with number ones. I like to be number one, number two guy. So I'm working on a project, and in fact, we talk about collagen. I'll just jump on the collagen. I invested my time with a collagen product that was first of its kind, number one in the world, right? Like the unicorn collagen. That's going to give me the opportunity to recommend that and have people taking that for not months. Like I'm looking for years and decades, right? So, what I've done with brand partnership, Anne, is not just to settle for brand ambassadorship, not just to settle for, I'm going to recommend the product. Okay. I'm going to be an ambassador for the product. A brand partnership is, I'm going to see a bigger picture for how this could really go around the world. Right. And I want to help brand ambassadors do what they do even better. And I want to help people who know brand ambassadors, right? I'll give you an example. And I'm going to give you an international example because we live in a global world. Literally, you can build a business from wherever you are. If you're in San Diego, California, if you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, if you're in Bangladesh. Uh, 2 weeks ago, I did an internet conference for entrepreneurs and in West Africa. And I was literally broadcast side by side with live speakers. We're taking turns, and I was talking to a room full of entrepreneurs in West Africa. So I'm giving you an international example for a reason. I called a friend about brand partnership, right? I didn't just call him, and here's one of the differences. Brand ambassador, I'm going to talk to you about this product. Brand partnership, I called my friend, I said, I have an amazing story for you. And he says, what's going on? He lived in Tokyo, by the way, my friend. He lives in Tokyo. And I said, I've got the most amazing story. I found an amazing business story. Okay. That and we can have ownership in this, right? He's like, what is it? And so then I proceeded, and we're going to talk about this next week, I think, but I proceeded to lay out for him the kind of the big components, right? The big pillars, the key things that you'd want to know about a company, product, brand, if you were going to make a long-term partnership, if you
Yes.
wanted to create something that could pay you for decades, right? Years and decades. So I just laid this out really briefly, like brrr, it has just believe me, it checks this and this, and I said I'm going to send you some information. Boom, kind of end of conversation. I then sent him an email starting to get to these points, right? In other words, brand partnership isn't just a, hey, I've got something amazing. You know, I've got a stick of gum. You want to, it's not just a stick of gum. We're talking about a business partnership, right? So we need to look at this with the right eyes so that we make sure that we create the right partnerships. Hey, in relationships, you want the right partnerships? Yeah. In business, we're talking about creating the right partnerships. It's all about the right people that you're working with. An email comes back to me, and 2 days later, wow, wow, this is amazing. That led to a trip I made. I hopped on a plane. This is goodness 10 years ago, actually. I hopped on a plane to Tokyo, and I spent 3 days with him. And in the meantime, he had gotten so excited about this that he started to do what I had done. But again, it's not just he was excited about the product. Of course, the partnership and the brand and the business. Of course, you have to have a product. And so he was excited about the product. He was excited about the partnership and the bigger business picture. So he said, would you like me to introduce some people to you? That didn't take me long to answer. I said
Oh, I'm
yes.
surprised. Really? No, come on. So give me a day or two to think about it.
So we flew. My business partner flew into Tokyo, hopped a train into the city, into the Ginza area, just absolute gorgeous district in Tokyo. We stayed at a hotel which is no longer there. It was an upscale boutique hotel. We got into a suite, and we just started. We met with my friend. I remember we met with my friend late that night. He came to the hotel room and he said, "Okay, now I want all the details." So I stayed up late and I just covered. I mean, I got jet lag. I'm just getting off the plane. I want to go to bed. No, he was so excited to get every single detail, the 6 key components. And so I stayed up and I outlined everything for him. And he said, wow, Seth, I knew this was big, but this exceeded my expectations. And the next morning, we started meeting with people about partnership. Again, people I would have never had access to. And my friend introduced us. We had appointments every 2 hours. We were meeting with somebody new. And and the beauty of this, and I'm kind of reminded of your days in New York, with your team of 6 in a corporate structure.
Mhm.
Okay. In this structure, in this brand partnership structure where we're seeking to create residual incomes and leverage residual and passive incomes, right? And a combination of all of those. one person, talked to one person who then started to put a team together, right? Three, let's just say three. We met with more than three, but I'll just give you really simple numbers. He found at least three people who then in the days following brought their three people. And then I flew home. I was there about 3 days. Well, what happened is those brand partners, they got very excited. And by the way, I didn't get everybody. Like everybody didn't want to get on the train. But I found a few key people who got really excited about creating a new life, a new lifestyle, right? Again, when you have tasted these different income models that are infinitely more powerful than anything I ever created in 10 years in corporate America, or would have created in 20 or 30 years of corporate America, or running my own business even, when you taste that, or when you think you've got a chance to shoot for that, there's something electric that happens in your life. You start talking to the best people you know. I flew home. I flew back a month later in January. That was December. I flew back in January. And now my friends are bringing these two people to me. And it literally we started to create, it's like a snowball effect, right? A word of mouth, snowball effect, viral kind of a thing. Um, and I'll tell you, today, 6 months later, we had created brand partnerships with 500 people.
That so I want to unpack what you just said. Now, because I'm a creator, okay? I'm the problem solver. That's how my brain connects the dots. So that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to learn from you, work closely with you. Your experience of reaching out to the right people. It always has to be the right people with the right offer. So even if we're going a product you're going to put in a retail store, it has to be, what is your customer going to buy? Just a
Yeah,
product. You don't offer them things that are not going to be helpful. You don't offer them things that they cannot afford. Who is your customer? So starting with that. Then the brand ambassadors. Now that's my world, training people to be interviewed on television, reaching out to people in that heart to heart conversations and being interviewed. And it's always a conversation. It's a personal conversation. It's about building trust. That whole know, like, and trust factor exists in every aspect of our lives. And so a brand ambassador, whenever they're looking at a product, they're like, well, is this good for my people? And they have to be very, very careful, because if you promote the wrong product and people trust you, next time they're not going to say yes to what you're offering. Okay,
right.
very important. So that's my jam. It's like the whole unique influencer code. Who are you? Who is it that you really want to support? That's the heart to heart connection. Now, when you add the business expertise, like how you actually choose people to work with, to partner with, and choosing the right people, they have to have the business mind. They have to be willing to build a business. There is a discernment process in there as well. And so the reason your friend said yes, because you had already looked at, how do you evaluate a business? So how do I evaluate a product that I'm going to be promoting to people, let's say, who are my followers, and how am I going to be offering a business opportunity to somebody? The discernment has to be there. And so I love, and I will tell you, when you shared with me your 6 criteria for choosing a business, that was like, this makes perfect sense. And things have to make sense. Okay, when things are clear and they make sense to people, they say yes. If they have a business mind and things make sense, it's not rocket science. It's trusting people to make the right decisions for themselves. So knowing whether somebody is a retailer or a brand ambassador or a business partner, these are three different personalities. So you offer the right thing to the right person and they will enjoy it, you know? They will enjoy it. So I'm super excited for us to actually come back next week. You guys, you better be here because we're going to talk about the 6 points that you definitely need to take a look at when evaluating a business opportunity. This is for any business, right? Any business that gives you opportunities to leverage your time better. That residual income aspect of it. How do you have the freedom? You know, it's about living happy, joyful, and free to do the things you want to do, and that's what we're talking about. And so, yeah, I'm super excited, super excited. I'm excited to unpack what you share with us next week. The 6 points of choosing the right business that's going to work for you. Which one is it? Well, we better be back here and find out.
We'll be back, Ann. Thank you so much. Wow, this has been fun. This has been absolutely fun. We're going to talk about it next week. So thank you. I'm grateful to be with a mentor and a partner, an absolutely incredible woman of a certain age, Ann Devere. My name is Seth Mulder, and I'm an entrepreneur, an author. Most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. And we're absolutely passionate about championing women. That's my mission. My mission is about championing women to be wildly and crazily successful in life, lifestyle, and business, money. So, Ann, thank you so much. And we're going to bring those 6 points back next week.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Seth. I'm loving doing this. Again, I'm gonna say I say it every week. I never know where you're going with your stories. You just zigzag all over, and it's fun. So much fun. So we learn a lot too. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks for joining.